What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Game Day Playbook Preview Show. We're looking at the Wednesday 8-game main slate starting at 7:10 p.m. Eastern Time. We do have some earlier baseball happening here on a Wednesday as well, so get in that Discord if you guys have any questions pertaining to that. But for 8 games here, James, some pretty decent pitching matchups on the board. Notably, we got an 11K Chris Sale on the road against Minnesota. You got Freddie Peralta at home at $9,800 as your top 2 price guys. Then a couple of guys in Corbin Burns, Joe Musgrove, Erod, Kyle Harrison, and Chris Bassett in the 8K range.
Yeah, pretty solid list of starters. Pretty solid bats. Interesting name making a return to the major leagues for the Rangers on the mound this evening, going up against the White Sox. Some really big time pitching prospects in general down here. So
has not fared well.
No, has not. Maybe that luck will change against the White Sox, but yeah, I mean, interesting slate, have cores, and some pretty juicy matchups in cores too. So should be a fun slate.
I guess the question is, at $11,000, do you pay the big premium for Chris Sale in this spot against Minnesota?
We say it a lot, like their, strikeout upside is, wins you the big bucks, and nobody on the slate has it, right? Like Chris Sale. I know he didn't necessarily fare too well against Washington. That's a team that doesn't strike out all that much, so that happens. He still went 7 innings, even in a game where he allowed 9 hits, 10 base runners total, only allowed 2 earned runs. He has just been as good as ever. He has as high a ceiling as ever. I definitely think it's a viable play. Minnesota has a higher strikeout rate than Washington does, and they definitely haven't been as good against lefties as they have been against righties this year. So I'm good with getting to Sale 11,000.
Yeah. Again, he's obviously $1,300, $1,200 more than the next price pitcher. That next price pitcher is Freddie Peralta home against the Giants. It's kind of an interesting spot here because we've got a couple of guys that have struggled in Musgrove and Burns of late. Milwaukee against lefties haven't been anything special. Kyle Harrison's 82. They don't really like to go after Chris Bassett too often against righties against Boston. So, it's the tier of pitching kind of falls off once you get past the top guys, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where the strikeouts have gone for Peralta, but I mean, I guess you have to at least trust that a guy who has 164 strikeouts and 142 innings will figure it out. So I mean, 9,800's expensive, but I would play Peralta in tournaments. Musgrove looked amazing for the first time. You could say that pretty much all year long that he looked great. Still only 75 pitches, but 7-0 game, big lead. Didn't need to really go stretch him out any further. I guess that's the concern, right? Is he going to pitch deeper into games? The Cardinals have given teams fits and given the Padres. I mean, knocked Dylan Cease out early, so 75 pitches. Unless we got word that he's fully ramped up, it's a little riskier. There's clearly something going on with Corbin Burns. He continues to struggle. This is not necessarily the spot you want to have him figured out in either.
On the road against the Dodgers doesn't feel like the get right play.
No, it doesn't feel like the get right play. I don't love Erod against the Mets. I mean, 100 pitches is nice. Mets are good against lefties. It's fine. Harrison, you mentioned. I mean, Milwaukee is fine against lefties. They just haven't hit for any power. They have a very, very low isolated power. So yeah, I mean, Harrison looking pretty good.
25% strikeout rate, a 117 ISO over the last 30 days.
Yeah, I mean, 117 ISO is bottom feeding. So yeah, I mean, I like Kyle Harrison 82. Bassett, I mean, now we've done this before with Chris Bassett against the Red Sox because how many lefties they have.
We did it with the Orioles at one time, and he went down here 7 innings, 2 earned. You're with 9 Ks. You're but Baltimore's got all of these lefties. What happened, right?
I would say the one thing with Chris Bassett is typically I mean, he has been a good pitcher, right? So he does have a flaw against lefties, but he is also good. So he can have those starts where he just shoves and you're like, right, that's good, good Chris Bassett. So yeah, it's a tournament play. Same with Bayo, who looked like he figured it out until he didn't, and then everything fell off
Yeah.
against Arizona.
The Danny Jansen Magic was looking pretty good for 4 innings.
Yeah, um, this is obviously an easier spot than Arizona. Toronto's offense hasn't been terrible of late. Payante, dude, Payante has been pretty good. It's the lineups that are righty dominant that give him issues. Now Machado's been really, really good. So could he give up a solo home run to Manny Machado tonight? Sure, could, but he hasn't. Severino,
I'm not doing anything against Arizona right now.
I think Jack Leiter, despite the struggles, is the play. And, for the same reasons other than him, him and Andrew Heaney not being lefty, same type of pitcher, because one threw from the left side, one from the right side. It's an elite spot for both splits. Leiter is in a spot against a White Sox team that ranks last in every offensive category on the board. So
yeah, my biggest concern for Leiter is that the walks are legitimate.
Yeah,
this man had a 409 walks per 9 this year at AAA. Last year at AAA it was 5.4. At AA last year it was 5.1. At AA and 2 years ago it was 5.4. At the major league levels, walks per 9 is 5.7. So the control is a serious problem for Jack Leiter here. Again, 6 walks in 10 innings that he's 9 1/3 innings that he's thrown. That's not like major league jitters. That is Jack Leiter, right?
Yeah.
Now it's the White Sox, no doubt. White Sox can cure a lot of problems. But if you put guys on base, man, this is still the major leagues,
Right.
that's going to come around and hurt you. So
I agree.
that first start, I think it was against Detroit, I believe it started off okay. And then he had some sort of a couple of defensive lapses, kind of hurt him a little bit, and then he just blew up from there. But I mean, these numbers are ugly. I hope honestly the field plays Jack Leiter, because I don't know if he's got it. I don't know if he's got it this year.
Well, I'll say this: he has had walk issues. Obviously, I'm not gonna dispute that. He did pitch fairly well at AAA, all things considered. PCL, 3.5 ERA. In 77 innings, he had 110 strikeouts.
Yeah.
That is a lot of strikeouts. 12.9 K per 9. Right? That is not anything to scoff at. Now, obviously, I'm talking strikeouts, you're talking walks. Both those things lead to a lot of pitches. So, I mean, there's a chance, his last couple starts. So this is last 2 starts AAA. Okay, 3 2/3, 11 strikeouts, 1 walk, 62 pitches. That's pretty good. They took him out of the game. I don't know why, but he had 11 strikeouts and 3 2/3. So he had, I mean, that's every out recorded. That's a strikeout. And then 5 2/3, 9 strikeouts, 75 pitches. Those 2 starts, that's figuring your pitch count out. Only 1 walk in each of those starts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I agree.
So the note on him here says last 9 starts, 2.57 ERA, 63 strikeouts to 18 walks in 42 innings. So suggesting that maybe he has figured something out. But
dude, they've been good. Looking at the numbers, they've been good.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how much I put behind Leiter here. That's still a little worrisome for me.
I'm not saying, but he's 7,100. He was $9,000 for his debut, which is crazy. There is not a lot of value. We talked from basically Peralta down. Who was one name that you definitively liked? Kyle Harrison, you liked.
I like Kyle Harrison. I do, but he's $8,200.
Outside of Kyle Harrison, one name you definitively liked. Chris Sale, Kyle Harrison. Who else did you definitively like at pitcher?
I like the names. I like Max Meyer.
He has not been great, and home runs have been a problem.
Sure.
I'm just saying, I like him as well. But like, if we're gonna talk about deficiencies with Leiter,
he's had obviously some tougher matchups.
Sure.
I would say Colorado and Chicago offensively are near similar. Now, Colorado tonight is obviously having a day, but they got the Rodri Munoz experience, which lends to many successes here.
Yes.
Let's see what the profs say on Max Meyer here. I mean, Meyer's kind of pitching to what he is, but less walks, 2.7 walks per 9, you know?
Well, again, we can't be, but then I'll just combat that with, strikeouts with Leiter, right? Like Meyer's not striking people out. Sure. I know it's different levels, but also.
Well, Leiter ain't striking anybody out here either, though, so. What was his strikeout per 9s? 6, same thing, 6.7.
I know, but like we have like a 9-inning sample versus Max Meyer making like.
He's only had 9 starts this year.
9 starts versus a 9-inning sample. Like,
well, he's only got 9 innings because he's getting rocked.
That's fair. Look, I'm also not saying like I wouldn't.
Would you pitch Kyle Freeland? I mean, this guy's actually been okay at home.
He has been weirdly good at home. Maybe 5,500. We talk about like these cheap price tags all the time, and on a slate with like limited pitching depth, then sure. I would probably play. How about this? I'd probably play Freeland before I played Meyer in this spot.
Okay.
I feel like I'm going to go with the guy pitching in a ballpark that he's familiar with, and then not the guy who's pitching in this park where he's like, wow, none of my pitches are breaking. What's happening?
Right. Fair enough.
But
that's it for pitching, right? There's nothing else.
I like that. That was a good debate about Leiter, because we're definitely fully split on.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if we wake up tomorrow, I mean, I'm on the playbook, so right? Am I on the playbook tomorrow? I guess I don't know. I made the schedule. I never know what days I'm doing things. Could be. We'll see. Someone's on the playbook, but either way, we'll be here at 5. We'll be doing the show at 5. I know that, and we'll check out the ownership. And I'll say this: if he is chalky, I will let the chalk be chalk. If he is not, I will play him.
Okay.
That's how I'll approach Jack Leiter on this one. All right, catcher. You can always play William Contreras against lefty if you want to spend up. Where are you at Walker Buehler matchup here against Baltimore?
Didn't look good again.
I was gonna say, hasn't been great. Hasn't been great stuff.
The problem is, like, there's not even like signs of life. Like, there's no strikeouts. There's a lot of walks. There's a lot of hits. There's a lot of traffic.
He had a lot of setbacks on this recovery. So, like,
I just don't understand what I don't have anything that I like about Walker Buehler here.
No, I agree. So, like, does that obviously puts you on then an Adley and things like that on this slate? Then not shying away, because name value Walker Buehler 2 years ago, you weren't pitching it. You weren't hitting anybody against him.
No, I mean, I'm probably not going to play Adley. I'd probably just play other Orioles.
Okay.
But 4,900 is the cheapest we've seen him in a little while. It's the first time he's been under 5K since ever. I mean, I don't know if he's been under 5K all year. This is the first time since April 21st he has been under 5K.
So you got that possibly going for you there. Atlanta versus Festa.
Yep.
That possibly is a play.
Elgary.
Sanchez, yeah.
Yep, Elgary for sure. Sorry, I had a little sneeze.
Yeah, that's fine. You got to sneeze it out sometimes. That happens.
Nick Fortes, 3,300. I think.
I mean, Corey Lee's 25 against Leiter. If you're not going Leiter,
yep.
You mentioned on the show on Tuesday that Corey Lee's stronger splits are against right-handed pitching. So
they are. For sure.
You got that going for him. Of course, we'll never know what his numbers were against left-handed pitching on Tuesday because they called that game after 3 pitches.
Whoa, 4.
4. Sorry, 4.
Respect to Garrett. Good. The Garrett Crochet day. Big 4
nice
pitches.
10% rostered 0 on my lineup with Corey Lee at catcher. So,
yep,
that's big sad there. First base then. I mean, I'm not shying away from Corbin Burns here. Ohtani's
he's
7K.
He's been terrible, dude. He's been terrible. Now, like, he could always revert back to Corbin Burns at some point, but he has been terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Dodgers are not terrible.
Conine, by the way, triple.
Yeah, he's good. I mean, well,
2K.
Yeah, 2K. Good. We'll have him here again.
I said we're gonna have. That's what I was gonna
say. Lefty. He probably won't. We'll see if he's in the lineup.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I was gonna say, Conine have a good night tonight, and we got a 7K Ohtani.
He's also 3K. I just looked. He's $3,000.
They moved him up. Good on them. So you have Ohtani. You got Berger, lefty in cores, 56. Olsen having a good night again tonight. $5,400. Taglia, Freeman at 51 if you want the cheaper first baseman there. Alonso gets a lefty. He homered tonight, 5K. Casas was the highest projected rostered first baseman on Tuesday. Lefty versus Bassett at 49. So a whole lot of possibilities here. Casas and up.
Yeah, I think this is an elite spend position. Not shying away from Shohei. Can definitely play Vladdy. I know lefty power has been the issue, but like Vladdy in Boston, it's a good thing to have. Berger for sure. This is a great spot for him. Olsen's been much better lately. Tolia, dude, I just enjoy the power upside with Mike Tolia. So for a guy hitting, you don't see a lot of players with 220 average with a near 800 OPS, right? That's Mike Tolia on the year. So power upside. I personally, and I know this might hurt you, I am completely kind of out on Freeman right now with this finger thing. He has not looked great.
Honestly, this has kind of been a down year for Freeman.
Sure.
If you think about maybe expectations, say you spent like almost $50
for a 320 for a 320 hitter.
Yeah, and you're getting 280, and maybe those funds could have been allocated towards a different first baseman. He's been fine, he's been fine, but for DFS purposes, obviously he's going to always be part of lineup stacks. Yeah. If you fit him in there, gonna hit in the middle of that lineup. So JD Martinez was someone who wanted to play on Tuesday. They moved Erod back a day. He's there again at 44. If you wanted to run the lefty there against Eduardo. What else are we looking at down here?
You can play Hoskins 37, but he's kind of been terrible. O'Hearn $3,600. He's gonna probably play most days with Mountcastle on the IL. So we'll get O'Hearn, Andrew Vaughn if you're fading out. I almost called him Al Leiter. Mark Leiter. I wonder what Texas is going to come in at here, John, with Chris Flexen on the mound. I wonder if Texas is going to be popular because Nathaniel Lowe, in theory, should be in play, but he's been terrible.
Yeah. That's fine by me. Again, if you're not in on Leiter, White Sox are all down here. Some cheap bats you can get into. That's probably it, though, for me. Anything else for you?
No.
Good. Second base?
Mm-hmm.
Where you want to
go? David Hamilton's fine. Semien, if you're in Texas, if you want to stack Texas. Horwitz is good with the lefty matchup against Bayo.
Yeah, Norby, 39.
Norby will lead off. He's still too cheap at $3,900.
Kevin Lux, 36.
Yeah, he's been good against righties, so can continue to run him out. Otto Lopez, 37. He hit 5th on the.
Will Merrifield lead off again?
Probably. They hit Michael Harris 6th, and Michael Harris was good, but they hit him 6th. So can definitely go 32, Merrifield, Jackson Holiday, 34. Another good value. Julian won't be in the lineup. Will Wagner, we'll see where they hit him, but he homered. He had 3 hits and homered, hitting 9th.
Lefty versus Bayo there.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Third base. We'll see what's going on with Devers a day-to-day here, eh? What do we got? Just soreness in his shoulders. So he's been sore in his shoulders all season long. He's been fine. So Devers 58. We talked Burger. Royce Lewis homered today, but he's at the Sale matchup. Machado versus Palante at 51. McMahon's in Coors at 49. Muncy versus Burns at 48. Viento, someone we liked the other day, he's at the lefty spot against Erod at 47. So some pretty good matchups here at third base.
Yeah, I mean, if Devers plays, for sure. We talked Vladdy Burger. Both of them are in play. Royce. Dude, Machado's been on one. Homered again on the Tuesday slate. He has been really, really good, and Piante struggles against righties. So Machado definitely in play. I'd be okay going to Ryan McMahon. He once again is like the big letdown of this Rockies lineup, but he's hitting third. Lefty against Max Meyer is good. Do Max Muncy, just we'll say it, might go for 4, might hit 2 home runs. You never know. There's a 50% chance both those things he might go 2 for 6.
It could start the game 0 for 2 and then go 2 for 2 with 2 homers the next 2 at bats.
Dude, if he gets 6 at bats, he might go 2 for 6 with 2 home runs and 4 strikeouts.
Any ratios are possible there. So
love Vientos. Yeah, I love every play basically over like Vientos up, maybe other than Matt Chapman, but even that, we know Freddie Peralta struggles against righties.
Yeah, he does not. He's not very good there. Any values for you at the position?
Any values?
Does this make you go to Barger? So when they moved into the middle of the lineup on Tuesday, 2,900?
You can also always play Norby here,
sure.
Because there's a lot of second base value. So if you were looking to make this a position of value, like Norby plugs in pretty nicely there. I don't think Barger hit 5th.
Yeah,
hit an RBI on the Tuesday slate. Another hit that's like hits in 7 straight games. So if Barger to hit in the middle of the lineup, I'd play him 2,900 rather.
Shortstop. Gunner's your top guy. Tovar homer twice. Got Lindor versus a lefty. Seager versus Flexen. Can't really do much worse than those 4.
Tovar homer twice and counting.
In counting, true.
TBD on how many he finishes with. Probably gets 2 more at bats. Yeah, I mean, I think every play. This is another elite spend. Gunner elite spot. Tovar perfectly fine. 3 for 3 with 2 home runs and a double. Lindor elite spot. Seager again. Corey Seager is 5,300 for no reason whatsoever, and he gets Chris Flexen. That might be the best spot for a home run of all of them, and he's the cheapest, right? So can't go wrong with any of those top 4 names.
Yeah, I agree. Mid-tier options for us here. Not a ton. I mean, we talked Rojas, obviously. Past slates, Edmund, same thing. Perdomo. Arcia versus a righty's 31. I know that's one you've been a fan of lately.
Yeah, Arcia versus a righty. He's been good against them. He's done all of his damage against them. So no problem going back to that well.
Anybody else?
No.
Okay. Outfield. Where are we spending the money?
Jarren Duran. If it's not Shohei. I mean, it's not just like he's obviously there's been talent. He's never been this good, like in terms of power. The power has been incredible.
And you know what's crazy is that he is rumored to possibly be traded in the offseason. Because the Red Sox have too many guys coming up in the outfield.
But again, is that because the contract he's going to get and they don't want to pay it? Because
he's arbitration eligible till 2028. So he's not even due for a deal. But why
would he ever be the one on the block? Why?
You
Like,
can
why?
get the biggest pitcher. Trade him for
Oh
Skubal.
boy.
It's what they're talking. You got to make room for Roman Anthony. You got to make room Weiler Bray. You got to make room for Ceddanne Rafaela, Tristan Campbell. There's all these. They just drafted Brady Montgomery. He's an outfielder. Like they're just trying to make room.
I'm not saying like those guys don't have higher ceilings, right? But this is like one of those things where you look at a player that you have, and you're like, that is already an
Already
elite
there.
baseball
Yeah.
player.
Yeah.
And we're banking on someone else turning into one of those when we just don't have any
And
idea.
he's cost controlled. But the idea basically is like the free agent pitching market outside of Corbin Burns is not very good this upcoming season. And there are big name pitchers that were rumored to possibly be on the move at the deadline. So Duran being the most valuable, both contract wise, age wise, and coming off of a ceiling season, would make him a viable trade partner person. So
There's almost just, it is like, obviously, as a Yankees fan, I'm not mad that to get Jaron Duran as far away from this team as possible. But like, that just seems like a mistake.
it
But
depends on if they pull off a Skubal trade. I don't think people would
sure,
be too upset about it, right? So
if they pulled off a Skubal trade, that is obviously one thing. But also you got to look. I mean, Detroit's 500 this year. Detroit is actually going to finish like potentially north of 500. And if you're Detroit with all these young talent, like why is he back on the market?
I don't. He was on the market at the deadline this year.
I know. I'm just saying. I think we'll see.
We'll see.
Either way, I think on this slate, elite spot against Chris Bassett after Jaron Duran hit home runs 7, 19, and 20 in the last 2 days. Because the first home run
unless you play on ESPN that he didn't actually homer at all. So
did Ezekiel? Oh my God!
Tovar just homer again.
It was caught at the wall. Sack fly at the wall. 366 feet to right field at the wall.
Seems useful.
Almost third home run. But yeah, I think Jaron Duran, not mentioning Ohtani because Ohtani's already been talked about, is the best outfield play. Obviously, Betts is fine.
Yeah.
If Brent Doyle plays, you could play him. Santander. Corbin. This feels like a Santander home run spot.
Santander for sure, yeah.
Corby for sure. Corby's been great. About time.
Any really Arizona lefties here, I guess. Carroll, Peterson, McCarthy against Severino.
Yeah. And you know what? Salute to Charlie Blackmon. I gave out that stat on the live stream, and I put it in the playbook on Tuesday. At home against righties, very specific for Charlie Blackmon. Over 200 ISO, 850 OPS. Led off the game with a home run. Has a couple hits. Right now 2 for 3, home run, 2 runs scored and a walk. I mean, hey, we're back to the same spot again, and he's $100 cheaper than he was on the
other guys in this mid-tier range for you?
Could be a Springer dinger since he's hitting home runs in bunches as well. He also hit his 7th and then 19th home run against Boston on the same day. A lot of 7th and 19th home runs being hit on the same day. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So for sure, Springer. You can always play like Alec Burleson, who's heating up again. Jackson Merrill has been amazing. Nolan Jones should be back in the lineup with a righty on the mound.
Yeah.
Profar, Jake Cave will probably be in the lineup, $4,500.
Yoshida's been really good lately.
He has been really, really good. And again, like he's hitting in a. They moved him to 6th, I want to say today, and that's not even like a bad thing because hitting in front of him is just such elite players. There's always going to be traffic on the bases for Yoshida, so even for a guy who doesn't hit for a lot of power, there's always run producing opportunities for Yoshida. He has more.
He was supposed to be like a contact guy, right? And then this year he really struggled for the first half of the season. But the second half since the All-Star break, he's been pretty much a monster. So you got him, you got Weiler down here at 42, Michael Harris against Festa at 42, Churio versus a lefty. He actually homered tonight. Marte versus lefty and Erod. Looking pretty good there. If you're not in on lighter, Lewis Roberts 41.
I was just looking at Yoshida has one fewer RBI than Tyler O'Neill. And Tyler O'Neill has 23 home runs, and Masataka Yoshida has 9.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's only supposed to be like a 15 on a good year, 18 to 20 homer guy, but he was supposed to be like elite contact, like average guy, right? Like he was supposed to be able to just, give you RBIs and runs and average,
Yep. I just think it's funny that he has one fewer RBI and 14 fewer home runs.
Well, we also know nobody's been on base in front of Tyler O'Neill all year.
Yeah, poor guy.
Varsho 4K if you want to
homered again. Homered again on Tuesday.
They gave Josh Smith outfield eligibility. He's probably had.
Yeah, it's been a couple slates. Sedmo's been really good. If you want to play some Sedmo,
dude, Baltimore could be warm. They got the Coors Field matchup this weekend, so a little tune up on Bueller, getting ready to head to Denver.
Yeah, we didn't mention Ramon Urias at third, but he's like been their best player lately. If you want to play Ramon Urias as well, but yeah, I think this is a pretty good Baltimore. This is a fun game in general.
A lot of talent, some not so talented pitchers.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a lineup. This is going to be interesting because I don't know what we're going to do. Like plug Sale. Like if we did Sale.
What are we trying to find here?
What do we do? Sale and what?
Well, let's move on from there. We'll come back to it. Let's do a value second baseman and then like Norby at third. So we basically hit like 2 value spots right off the bat. Because we have like Lux 36, Merrifield 35, Holiday 34. We had Will Wagner $2,700.
Yeah, let's do Wagner. I like Bayo, but not that much.
I like Bayo struggles against lefty. He
can't hit lefties. Right, exactly. All right.
We get Norby at third. We're just plugging Connor Norby in for 4 straight days. Don't care.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, that's fine. This is our value outfielder. It's not really. I mean, Barger's 29.
I mean, value outfield. Sam Hilliard homered on the.
Can use Edmund out here, but it's not his right. It's not the right split for him. He did triple on this slate.
He sure did. He sure did.
It's not great. $4,600. We liked a lot of these 4K guys. So if we did Harris,
I mean,
was Merrifield only second base?
Second base. Yep.
We're just getting into it. We need another value play. What's shortstop?
Catcher? We just punt catcher.
Catcher. Well, I mean, Corey Lee was 25, right? I was
that's what you were. We'll play. How about this? Do Fortes at 33 against Freeland. Then we get like a very cheap catcher in Coors. He'll be very popular. It's a fine play as well.
Arcia 31. This is 54.50 for first outfield and 2 pitchers.
So play if we were to plug Harrison right now, what would that put us at?
45. So plenty of money.
That's where we want to be.
Go JD Mart. That's Erod.
And 2 4,600 outfielders. I mean, do we want to play Marte Martinez or?
Yeah, you want to do JD in the outfield?
Yeah. Well, no. Well, yeah, because this either puts us. It's either Casas or
Casas.
Blackman. Yeah.
I'll do one off Casas there. So Sale, Harrison, Fortes, Casas, Wagner, Norby, Arcia, Harris, Marte, Martinez. Early lineup build for everybody. Again, James and I will be live at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Give you all the latest news, updates, weather notes, and build you all another lineup. So stay tuned for that. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Free way to support the work we do here over at Fantasy Alarm. We'll see you then.